So, I saw Godzilla this weekend, and it was awesome! Now, in order to understand why I like this film, you have to understand my background regarding this film. First of all, even though I didn't grow up necessarily knowing all the Godzilla terms, like I didn't watch the first movie, I'm sorry. I know what happens in the first movie though, so give me some credit. I do have an idea on what Godzilla is, but I never could really get all the info on him, even though I had an interest in him. I collected a few action figures, which I don't have anymore, sorry. And I really like the concept of a giant lizard that could breathe fire too. That was cool. Godzilla was cool. He was the epitome of cool. I don't know how else to describe it. So yeah, that's kind of my background regarding the Godzilla franchise. Surprisingly, for a movie named Godzilla, there's actually a lot of focus on the human characters. Now, from what I've seen of old Godzilla films, this is also true. There is you need human characters in a Godzilla film in order for the film to progress. That being said, you all probably saw the trailers with the actor from Breaking Bad, Bryan Cranston. Even though I did not watch Breaking Bad, I've heard of this guy and I know he's pretty legendary right now. He's pretty up there. He's a top tier actor. And his performance in Godzilla was very good. Even though he wasn't in it for the entire movie, I'm not going to tell you how and why he wasn't. But when he was, he left an impact. I would say he's almost as much a mascot for this movie as Godzilla himself. And then the movie goes to his son, who is played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. He does an adequate job. He doesn't have quite as much flair as Cranston did, but I think he did a pretty good job. He was meant to play a soldier's point of view, and when you're a soldier fighting Godzilla, interesting things happen. I've heard some people complain that he didn't have any emotion or whatever, but I don't think that was his part. I think that was Cranston's part, and he played that up. I think Johnson was just meant to be an observer to this grand phenomenon, this and sort of bear witness, if you will, to bear witness to the end of days, Armageddon, and whatnot. And I think that was his role, and I think he played it pretty well. Okay, so what did I like in this movie? What stood out to me? Well, let's start with the cream of the crop. Let's start with Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Yes. Okay, how was he? He was awesome. He was big. He was like the guardian of Earth. They kind of stressed. They were like, he is the guardian of Earth, the chosen one, or something. Even though they kind of subliminally put that, probably so people can root for him or something. His real motives, if he was a real creature, are probably something like, I gotta protect my territory from these other creatures who are invading my territory. Godzilla's motives are actually pretty unknown. You could say, oh, he was saving the people, he was trying to save the people, or you could say he didn't really care, or you could say he doesn't like people. I don't know. Personally, the vibe I get from Godzilla is that he doesn't go out of his way to destroy humans. Maybe he even likes them a little bit, which is why he tries to minimize some damage. But overall, he really is just like, okay, I'm done, I'm gonna leave. I came here, I kicked ass, I'm gonna leave now. I think that's basically his attitude in most Godzilla films. There may be an occasion where he's actually actually doesn't like humans because humans messed up, but overall I think he doesn't hate humans. Now, the other type of monster that this film specifically developed was called the Muto. From what I've heard, other Godzilla fans approve of these creatures, and as for me, I like these creatures too. Now, there are two. There's the male, which is smaller but has wings, and the female, which is bigger, around Godzilla size. The smaller one, oh my god. Well, let me describe the female first. The female is kind of Godzilla size, and Godzilla focuses on her because she's probably the biggest threat. But it's the dad, the small one with the wings, that always gets Godzilla. Godzilla is focusing so much on the female that the little one just flies up behind him and whacks him upside the head, or attacks him or hurts him somehow. And honestly, I got annoyed, and you could tell Godzilla was annoyed. He was 100% done with that guy. And the way he goes out is very gratifying. I cheered. I was like, yes! You got him! You swatted that thing like a fly. Yeah! And speaking of which, the way the female dies was also pretty cool. For a second, I thought it was going to go King Kong 2005, where, King Kong's trying to rip open the T-Rex's mouth. He's about to rip it open. And I thought, oh, that would have been cool. But instead, Godzilla goes beyond that. He just looks down the thing's throat, and then he breathes his atomic breath right down the thing. It was cool. You saw his whole blue half sort of light up, and then, BOOM! Now, let's talk about other things besides the giant monsters that I liked. The score was good. The cinematography was good, meaning the camera angles were great. If you know the Halo jump from the trailers, you know how cool that was. Going into the city and it looks like just completely wrecked, and it really puts the audience in their point of view. And what's another thing? There's a lot of human aspects to it. If you're going there to see giant monsters fight, I'm sorry, you're gonna mostly see it from the human's point of view, sort of like Cloverfield. Not lost footage, but sort of from humans looking up. You're not gonna see it from an omnipotent viewer looking at this battle, sadly. And another thing was, this movie had a lot of teasers for the big kaiju fight. Like, you think Godzilla's about to fight the male Muto, and it just cuts to like a newsreel showing the battle. Granted, it showed you it, but it completely took you out of the moment, and it was rattling, quite frankly. And that's another thing I heard people didn't like about the movie. But overall, I really liked this movie. I really liked Godzilla. I really liked seeing the atomic breath. I really liked seeing the characters. Overall, I geeked out. This was a great movie. Yeah, I highly recommend going to see this movie. Go see it with a Godzilla fan. Even if you're not a Godzilla fan, I'm sure you'll enjoy it.